Bootlegs.
So, Roots is the only product on the market that is used for generating roots, either from clones or from seed, or rejuvenating roots that have been damaged, like from a disease or something like that.
Okay.
It's the only product that can be used in flowering as well. Most rooting products that are out there, you have to stop using in the first week or two of flowering because they hinder the flowering stage. They slow it down.
Okay.
This product you can use all the way from the first day to the last day of flowering. What happens in flowering in around the 5th or 6th week, your roots tip off. They actually grow like there's a little brown edge to it, tip, and that means they're not growing anymore. What Roots does is it keeps them growing and still searching for food. Okay. It keeps them nice and white, nice and sticky. They're they won't get hurt from overwatering, underwatering, from light hitting them. They're going to be really, really strong. Okay. The next product is Pre. Pre is a stacker. Basically, grows more inner nodes, and it shortens the length between the inner nodes, which basically plants grow. If your plant usually has like about a 2-inch gap in between the inner nodes, when you use the Pre, it will shrink it down because it's making the plant grow more inner nodes. So basically, by having more inner nodes, you have more flowers, more fruit, more product.
Okay. So what is it, just real quick, inner nodes?
Inner nodes is the stems that stick out of the main stem.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Here, let me get this real quick. All right. So Pre.
Huh?
We're talking about Pre.
Yeah. The stacker.
And inner nodes and.
Yeah, it's used to shorten the height of the plant by growing more inner nodes this way.
Yeah.
So when the plant's growing inner nodes, it's not stretching. And, the more you want it to be compact, the more of the product you use. The less you want it to be compact, the dilute, use half strength or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
Headline 2.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
That was veg. Those first, so they're used for 2 weeks each one. The Pre.
Okay.
Used for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Either the last 2 weeks of veg, or if you have a 3-week veg cycle, then you use it for week 2 and 3.
Okay.
With the roots. Then you skip over to Ultra. Ultra amplifies the effect of flower setting. Basically, by using Ultra, your flowers, your pistolites, which are your pistolites, but I wouldn't write that in there, but I'm letting you know.
Okay.
Which are your flower sites, will pop up within 2 to 3 days. Usually, without using a product like this, they come up about 12 to 14 days. Okay?
Okay.
So this amplifies that effect. So basically, by using it, you'll have flowers faster, and you'll have more flowers on the stem. So that means they'll be thicker, stronger, fatter, tighter.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily make it so you finish earlier, but outdoors it does. The next product is Fat, and Fat just makes those flowers just get bigger sideways. It's not up and down movement; it's to the sides.
Okay.
Ooze works on your terpenoids, which are your resin glands. And basically, that product, once you use it within 3 to 4 days, you can see the crystals already forming on the plant.
Okay.
So it's all resin crystals. Final is the last product that you would use in your flowering stage of the flagship products. It's a finisher. Basically, in week 5 and 6, in an 8-week cycle, in week 5 and 6, your plant stops flowering, and it goes into finishing mode. So basically, what this does is it kicks it back into flowering and adds about 30 to 40% more size to the flower. and hardens it up. Okay?
Okay.
And that could be used all the way to the end. All those products that I just mentioned have a 0.0 NPK, so they don't change your NPK at all. We're the only line that has this many products with no NPK in them. So you can add them to any formula that you want, and it doesn't change anything. Like, let's say you already know that you have to use a certain amount of teaspoons for your reservoir with what you're already using. This won't change any of that.
Okay.
You can do all that, check your pH, check your ppm, and then throw these nutrients or additives in at a teaspoon per gallon. You're good to go.
Okay.
All right. The next product is Sea Minerals. Sea Minerals is pure seawater. What we do is we let the sodium chloride rise up from the water, which is the salt. We take the salt off the top. We let the salt rise up to the top again, and we harvest that, and then you're just left with pure seawater. A lot of people ask what the hell anybody would want with seawater. Seawater has trace elements that it would take hundreds of thousands of dollars to reproduce that many in a bottle and to sell it. So you have all the trace elements that are on the elemental chart in this bottle. So whatever deficiency you have and all that, you throw that in there, you're good to go.
Okay.
So this will bring everything, it's 99% natural trace elements. The next product is Sea Fuel. Next to our facility where we produce Bloom is the largest bluefin tuna processing plant. And what they do is they give us their guts, and we compost it. We throw a little bit of fish oil in there, and that's what you get. So imagine these 30-year-old tunas roaming around in the water, eating all this like kelp and all this beneficial stuff, over 25 years, and then all that's left is inside their guts. So it's very good for the plants.
So it's like a fertilizer, essentially?
It's kind of like a fertilizer, yes. You can use it as a fertilizer, but it's not a fertilizer, it's an additive.
Okay.
You would have to use it with something else. But your plants will never be yellow if you use something like that. It'll keep them nice and green. Then we have the seaweed. There's many companies that produce seaweed. There's about 10 of them. There's only about 4 that do cold pressed, and we're one of the cold pressed. And we're the only one that takes the seaweed from a non-shipping lane, which is clean waters. There's no pollution or anything like that. So that's what separates us from other seaweeds.
Okay.
I call those kind of products generic because other companies have them, but we just made them a little bit better. Sweet is just carbohydrates, molasses-based product that enhances and keeps the more sugar, makes the plant get a little bit fatter. CalMag is a calcium magnesium. Basically, it's an additive for sprucing up any kind of deficiencies that you would have with calcium. The product that I like to use the cal with is the PK, which is the like a high phosphorus potassium product. Basically, when you use a high phosphorus potassium product like that, is the calcium magnesium level drops in your reservoir, so you have to compensate it with the CalMag. That's what happens.
Okay.
Okay. So those two products should be bought together. You can buy CalMag by itself, but PK is not recommended buying it by itself because unless you have CalMag at home.
Okay.
Humate, just humate, 90% humate. Helps the food travel faster inside the stem.
Okay.
Growagen is a growth spray, to strengthen the connections between the petioles and the stems. Open up the pores of the leaves so they absorb more CO2 and oxygen and stuff, right? Floragen is a flower spray. It increases the flower uniformity on the flowers and more size and scent and flavor. And that's a flowering spray. The Immuno 1 and 2, also known as the Foliar 1 and 2. Those are for Fusarium, which is a powdery mildew. Basically, when you spray this on the plant is tricked to think that it's being attacked, so the immune system kicks on, and then anytime powdery mildew sets on it, it just gets killed off right away. It's systemic, so it's good to use it on your mothers. So when you take your clones, they're already inside the plant, and it's used every 21 days, because after 21 days it drops. You know, the the immune system stops working, and then you got to kick it back on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool.